Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Friends, great news. It's time once again to dive into Rod Serling's tense, terrifying, yet always terrific world of the Twilight Zone. This time, Season 2, Episode 4, A Thing About Machines. Make sure I have that right. A Thing About Machines. So far, so good, friends. I can't wait to see exactly what Rod has in store for us this week. So wait no longer, we shall. If you could do me a quick favor though and hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel and allows me to alert you next time it's time to journey into the Twilight Zone. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. And if you're not a fan of Patreon, consider YouTube memberships. You'll get all of our episodes at least a day early. But my dear, dear friends, all that is then and this is now. And what is now? Now it's time for the 4th episode of the 2nd season of The Twilight Zone, A Thing About Machines. Prepare to engage maximum warp reaction. And away we go. Rod taking us back to the Twilight Zone. Rod's telling us about what the Twilight Zone is. Okay, so I've been thinking about this, friends. I am 3 episodes, this is my 4th episode into the Twilight Zone 2nd season. So far, season 1's first couple episodes for me were a little bit more impressive. We'll just see how we go with this one. This is episode 4 now, A Thing About Machines. Let's see how it goes. The first 3 were good, but they weren't the same excellent that we had in that first season. I'm getting very demanding in my old age. Let me get my driving gloves off here. And I wonder what that van does. Anybody for game chess?
How are you today, Mr. Finchley?
We've seen that guy before.
And also exactly how much this current larceny is going to cost me. I presume I'm to be dunned once again for 3 times the worth of the blasted thing.
Last time I was over here.
I think that guy was in the Purple Testament. He was the medical doctor in the army.
The set was not working properly. I tried to get it to do so in a perfectly normal fashion.
By kicking your foot through the screen?
Supposing we stop this moronic small talk, shall we?
What do I owe you?
Get down to some serious larceny. What exactly is the purpose of the Better Business Bureau when it allows itinerant extortionists like you to come back week after week, move wires around, busily probe with ham-like hands, and achieve nothing but the financial ruin of every customer?
We're not a gyp outfit, Mr. Finchley. We're legitimate repairmen.
Yeah, Mr. Finchley, how about I never come back?
Now, a month ago, you called me over here to fix your portable radio because you threw it downstairs.
That did not work properly either.
Well, that's the point, Mr. Finchley. Why don't they work properly? Offhand, I'd say it's because you don't treat them properly.
User error.
Aside from being a rather incompetent clod, you're a very unreceptive man.
How about you call somebody else next time?
And as for that Marconi original operating under the guise of a modern radio...
All right, Mr. Finchley, I'll send you a bill.
Of that I have no doubt.
Finchley,
Don't call
what
me
is
again.
it with you and machines?
You, my good friend, will fill one entire chapter entitled The Most Forgettable Person I Ever Met.
Then forget my number.
It just so happens that every machine in this house is...
Just drooling a bit, everybody. I apologize. My bloodlust for machinery. It's letting you know it's 2 in the afternoon as you pour your first drink.
Stop!
That's a pretty good,
This is Mr. Bartlett Finchley, age 48. A
Bartlett.
practicing sophisticate who writes very special and very precious things for gourmet magazines and the like.
Practicing sophisticate.
He has no interests save whatever current
Love
annoyances
it.
he can put his mind to. In short, Mr. Bartlett Finchley is a malcontent, born either too late or too early in the century, and who in just a moment will enter a realm where muscles and the will to fight back are not limited to human beings. Next stop for Mr. Bartlett Finchley, the Twilight Zone.
So all the machines are going to fight back against his destruction or disrepair or whatever.
Miss Rogers.
So he's a food critic, eh?
That's 30 pages in 3 hours and a half. That's the best I can do, Mr. Finchley.
It's that idiotic machine, that typewriter of yours. Thomas Jefferson wrote the entire Declaration of Independence with a feather quill, and it took him only half a day.
Why don't you hire Mr. Jefferson?
Did I ever tell you with what degree of distaste I view insubordination?
Often and endlessly.
We've seen her before, too. Or I have anyway. I can't remember where.
As for me,
I quit.
I've had it.
And you are going where?
Anywhere but here.
Any place where I can be away from the highly articulate, oh so sophisticated bon vivant of America's winers and diners, Mr. Bartlett Finchley. You've even got me talking like you.
Miss Rogers, please.
Great shot.
I wish you'd stay for a bit. Oh, I don't mean for work or anything. All that can wait. I was just thinking that we could have dinner or something. A theater, perhaps?
How very sweet, Mr. Finchley. Thank you. But no, thank you.
Before you go, Miss Rogers, before you go.
Yes?
Yes.
I'd like very much not to be alone for a while.
What's going on, Bartlett?
What's your trouble?
Does there have to be trouble just because I...
Jesus, dude. Anger management.
I'm desperately tired. I haven't slept for 4 nights. Quite frankly, the thought of being alone just now is intolerable, Miss Rogers.
Why haven't you slept?
That television machine in there. It goes on late at night and wakes me up. Just goes on all by itself.
Why doesn't he get rid of all this stuff?
There's a conspiracy in this house, Miss Rogers.
Conspiracy?
That's exactly what it is, a conspiracy. The television set, the radio, the clock. Even that miserable car I drive. The steering wheel turned in my hand. It twisted itself in my hand. The car deliberately hit the side of the garage.
Get yourself a horse, a sundial.
For as long as I have lived, I have never been able to operate machines.
It's like he's a gremlin.
A doctor!
A doctor!
The universal panacea of the dreamless 20th century idiot.
Jesus, he is so prickly.
You, Miss Rogers, you see a doctor. I am a logical, rational, intelligent man.
Miss Rogers, get out of here.
I know what I see. I know what I hear.
Yeah,
Now, what do you think of that, Miss Rogers?
I think you're nuts.
You're terribly ill and you need medical attention.
And I'm out of here.
I will not be intimidated by machines. So it follows that no empty-headed little female with a mechanical face can do anything to me either.
See ya.
This mortal combat between you and the appliances. I hope you lose.
And now you're alone, buddy. We're going to kill you, Bartlett. Oh my God, that'd be so great. What's it say? I couldn't see. It's definitely a warning.
Get out of here, Finchley. Who are you to tell me to get out of here?
If he hates machinery so much, why does he have so much of it?
Get out of here, Finchley.
I mean, listen, it couldn't happen to a better prick, but I am curious as to why he was kind of targeted by the machinery, the machine gods. So many of our episodes deal with one person that may or may not have like somebody to act off of.
Why don't you get out of here, Finchley?
I'm going to pretend like none of this has happened because I'm Bartlett Finchley.
You are not going to intimidate me. You machine!
Okay.
Oh, Agatha. Bartlett Finchley here.
Everyone's least favorite person.
Which indeed prompts this call. How about dinner tonight? All right, I'll call you again, my dear.
Well, the phone works. It didn't do anything to him. Nope, that's everyone I know. Mrs. Rogers, Bartlett Finchley here. That little scrum we had earlier. Let's settle it over dinner.
Oh, Pauline, is this you?
And how is my favorite attractive young widow? Bartlett Finchley. Yes, I was just wondering if... Well, I'm delighted. I'm simply delighted. I'll send you a wedding present.
Well, Bartlett, your little black book is, not pretty good.
Well, who needs you? Who needs any of you?
It'll ring. What? Do we have textured walls, or are those like wallpaper that continues around the tub? Wow, you really want to use that, bud? Run. It's time to run, Bartlett.
Why don't you get out of here, Finchley?
The radio.
Get out of here, Finchley! Get out of here, Finchley!
I would probably do that. Cops? Ambulance? What happened?
She rolled down the driveway, almost hit a kid on a bike. You ought to check that emergency brake, mister.
The emergency brake was on.
Oh, no, it wasn't. She rolled down the driveway and right out into the street. You're lucky it didn't hit anyone. Well, you better pull it back up into the garage. And you ought to check that emergency brake the first chance you get. Understand, mister?
I got you. You understand, too, that this thing rolled down here and I was nowhere to be seen.
If, when I return with my car keys, you are not off my property,
I'm going to punch this kid. I don't know why I said that.
idiots.
Jesus. He is insufferable. Might as well put on your finest here to get drunk alone. It's certainly not going to be a problem, as you are psychologically tortured by your appliances. Dude. I'm going to tell you what, the machines will be talking to me too. I wouldn't hear them though, because I'd be having a very, very deep discussion with the toilet. Vomiting. Let's clear that up. Might be the incredible amount of scotch you had too, bud, that could be playing into this. We're going to kill you, Bartlett.
Get out of here, Finchley!
I'm just going to rage against it. That'll make it work.
Get out of here, Finchley! Get out!
I like the undone tie. He's unraveling.
I won't!
Why would you call the guy to repair any of this shit? I mean, I never would, right? This bad boy's coming. You can see the string pulling it. Did you see that? That's awesome. Dude, run. We got a maximum overdrive situation here. What was the Stephen King, Christine with the Plymouth Fury? Yeah, we got problems. We got big problems. Holy hell. Yeah, dude, you're not going to make it over that. Whoa! That was a hell of a stunt, because the driver of that car was blind. They had a point trajectory to hit on the fence, and Bartlett had to be out of the way. Or the stunt person, I think I saw. So it herded him back into the house, so to speak. I mean, there's just no way I'd go back in there. It's coming back, man. It really doesn't have anything better to do. Dude, get off the road. They're gonna take them both into the... Oh, this could be really good. Is it supposed to be that it hit him? Yeah, it definitely hit him.
You pulled the body out?
Yeah. It's funny. They usually float.
What do you mean, usually?
Well, he was on the bottom. He hadn't come up. His eyes were open. He looked scared, like something had been chasing him or something.
Whatever it was, it's a little item he took along with him.
Yeah. Maybe he was drunk.
Wow.
Imagining things.
Maybe.
Could be he had a heart attack or something.
Could be. Could just be.
I mean, anything's possible. We can sit here and speculate.
It could just be that Mr. Bartlett Finchley succumbed from a heart attack and a set of delusions. It could just be that he was tormented by an imagination as sharp as his wit and as pointed as his dislikes. This is one explanation that has left the premises with the deceased. Look for it filed under M for machines. in the Twilight Zone.
Fantastic. All right, everybody, we just finished watching The Twilight Zone Season 2, Episode 4, A Thing About Machines, and the only thing left to do is talk about it. All right, everybody, we just finished A Thing About Machines, the 4th episode of the 2nd season of The Twilight Zone, and my voice is going, so I'm going to have to make this one a little bit quicker than I normally would. I think this was my favorite episode of Season 2 so far. Like I said at the beginning of the reaction, I think that, I don't know how to put it, and I'd like to know how you all feel about the beginning here of Season 2. When we started Season 1, we had a lot of absolute banger after banger. You know, Where Is Everybody? One for the Angels. You know, Walking Distance was towards the front end of the season. Just really, really excellent episodes. It seemed like just one after the other was incredibly good. And it's not that these have been poor. By any stretch of the imagination, I have absolutely enjoyed each of these stories. Just on the scale of what we had at the beginning of Season 1, Season 2 hasn't had that, for me personally, hasn't had that same type of impact where I leave them going, oh my God. This one was the closest one to it, A Thing About Machines, where we had this really cool kind of, you know, Stephen King, again, who I'm sure was influenced by The Twilight Zone, Christine, Maximum Overdrive, inanimate objects becoming sentient, and then, you know, or at the very least becoming hostile. What I liked the most about this one was, from what I remember about like Christine and Maximum Overdrive, it was really just possession, and the people that were like in the path of the vehicles and things like that were for the most part innocents. They weren't necessarily evil people, or they didn't hate machinery. I thought that the prejudice that Bartlett had against machinery really did God's work in this one and made him very adversarial to just machines. I asked this question during the reaction, which I know is irritating when I ask questions, but you know, why would you even have these machines? You think that you would live like an incredibly simple life, a simple in comparison, you know. You might have a clock, but, and again, it was it was a little wind-up clock. It wasn't like it was a digital clock or something like that. But the TV, the radio, even the car, these are all things that you could do without if you were having so many troubles with them. And now I know that I thought it was interesting that they made him a food critic too, because he would sort of have to have certain things. And I think that might have been, they could have played into that a little bit more. Like his occupation sort of dictates that he has to have a radio, has to have a TV for this reason or that reason, which I'm sure they could have come up with something. I'll tell you what the Twilight Zone always does very, very well, and this is 100% because of the performances for the guest stars that they employ. But if we need to not like somebody, boy, oh boy, can they bring in people that we absolutely despise off the jump. The writing contributes to the dislike. The performance is usually what really shines through and makes, at least makes me despise the people that are in peril. And I think for a weird reason that the Twilight Zone likes to do that, they want to establish somebody as being just a real asshole. And so whenever the bad shit starts to happen to them, you're almost rooting for the bad shit. Like in this one, you're like, come on, car, come on, you can get him, because Bartlett is such an asshole. I mean, just a flaming asshole. I mean, he was so condescending to Miss Rogers. He was just an asshole to everybody. I'm surprised he has a book, let alone a book with numbers in it. You know what I mean? It's like, how did you ever even get, how were you ever nice enough to get anybody's number? You know, how are you even nice enough to establish any type of friendship? I mean, they sort of made that clear whenever he would call up to people and they'd be like, who? It's Bartlett. Oh, okay. No, I'm married. Okay. And which I think is great, because maybe she may or may not have been married, but as soon as she knew it was Finchley, she was like, oh, no, wait, I'm married. I mean, yes. Married. Mrs. But that's one of the, again, one of the great things. You know that whenever you're like 3 minutes into an episode and they introduce somebody that certainly looks like our central character and they're a-holes, you know something terrible is going to happen to them. That there's not going to be one of our happily ever afters, one of our redemption stories, one of our, you know, the good guy finishes first type of things. That's normally not the case in the Twilight Zone anyway, but really when they introduce a ne'er-do-well like Bartlett Finchley at the top of an episode, he ain't walking out at the end of the episode. We can almost take that to the bank at this point. Hell, he might already be dead, like in The Hitchhiker. And she was nice. She was good. Wasn't Bartlett Finchley. She wasn't an asshole. And she died. The Twilight Zone takes no prisoners. But again, I thought this one to me had the most imagination inside the story. Not necessarily, it wasn't the most developed or the most intricate. It was pretty straightforward, man versus machine type of thing. But again, with what is a nervous man in a $4 room, that was man versus himself. They just haven't hit in the same. I think what it is we haven't had anything truly spooky, truly kind of like bone chilling. You know what I mean? Where you look at it and you go, what is going on? And, the realization in and of itself is something that you don't even need the twist at the end. It's that path to get to the twist. I think of The Hitchhiker, which we just talked about. That was so foreboding. It was incredibly tense, incredibly just, you really didn't know what was happening. Plus, at least I did whenever I watched it, you're really rooting for our narrator. You're really rooting for her. And it turns out, this is just something that's not going to happen. And by the time we met her, she was already gone. And I think it's those types of episodes. Season 1 was just chock full of incredible moments. We just haven't, for me, so far through 4 episodes of season 2, we haven't had that one kind of defining episode that punches through. I think about, I shot an arrow into the air. Just these ones that you're like, oh, shit, when you figure it out, or just something happens during the actual 20 minutes that, again, chills the blood. That's what I love about the Twilight Zone, is when you just get freaked out. And so far, I don't think we've had the freak out yet. I'm waiting. I just don't think we've had it yet. Oh, my friends, but fingers crossed. The Howling Man, that sounds like a werewolf. I hope. Who knows? Who knows? I can't wait to see, though. Friends, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel and allows me to alert you next time it's time for the Twilight Zone or any of our sci-fi fare. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. And if you're not a fan of Patreon, consider YouTube memberships. You'll get all of our episodes at least a day early. But my dear friends, all that is then and this is now, and now unfortunately it's time to say goodbye from the Twilight Zone. Now normally around here, because we are the Greek chorus, our job is to delineate the story offered to us by the storytellers, find people that haven't seen it before, and tell them, hey, you should check out the Twilight Zone, it's great. We help spread the story, friends, so we are a vitally important part of the narrative, and that important part deserves a reward. So normally what we do in all of our other series, once we finish something, we like to jump back in as our reward and say goodbye from a favored scene. But with the Twilight Zone, we do something just a little bit different. Instead of saying goodbye from inside the episode, we say goodbye as a result of the episode. And friends, this one's going to be quick because we have what looks like a strange death, oddly occurring death here at the home of Bartlett Finchley. And, we're working with either the coroner's office or the police force. It's our job to go in and find any evidence that we can. And it turns out that, we found we found a broken TV, a broken clock, a couple of these things, and an odd typing. There was inside the typewriter, get out Finchley, that could potentially have been a murder. Who knows? So we confiscate all of these machines and we take them down to lockup. And when we're there one night, we think we hear the typewriter. But that can't be right. Wonder what it says. Until such time as we continue our journey through the Twilight Zone, my friends, Vulcan roll, and I'll see you.